The Grand Conclave of the Galactic Assembly stretched across the crystalline dome of Centaurus Station, its ancient chambers filled with representatives from 1,000 worlds. Ambassador Zintal of the Ashani Collective stood before them, her iridescent scales dulled by what she had witnessed. The assembled delegates fell silent as she raised all four of her arms, a traditional gesture of grave importance. "We have greatly miscalculated," she began, her translator struggling to convey the tremor in her voice. "What we thought we understood about humans, we were wrong. So terribly wrong." The assembled delegates stirred uneasily. The Ashani were known for their cold logic and emotional restraint. To see one of their senior diplomats so visibly shaken was unprecedented. High Administrator Kex of the Regilian Federation leaned forward, his crystalline form refracting light across the chamber. "Explain yourself, Ambassador. What could possibly warrant such alarm?" Zintal activated the central hologram, displaying a star map of what had once been the outer territories of the Vraxian Empire. Where dozens of systems had once glowed with the Empire's characteristic red markers, now only void remained. 3 standard cycles ago, the Vraxians attacked and destroyed the human colony of New Aurora. They believed humans to be like us, that they would seek mediation, that they would follow our protocols of conflict resolution. She paused, her inner eyelids flickering rapidly. They were wrong. The hologram shifted, showing footage from various sources across the galaxy. Humans, once known for their diversity of opinion and internal conflicts, moved with shocking unity. Shipyards that had produced civilian vessels now birthed warships of unprecedented design. Research facilities worked in perfect synchronization, advancing technologies that had seemed decades away from completion. "What you're seeing is not chaos," Zintal continued. "It is not rage as we understand it. The humans call it focused fury, a state of absolute clarity and purpose. They do not seek revenge. They seek justice, and their definition of justice is absolute." The footage showed human fleets moving with impossible precision, striking Vraxian strongholds that had stood for millennia. Each attack was calculated, minimal force used for maximum effect. No civilian targets were struck, no resources wasted. It was warfare elevated to an art form. The Vraxians believed they could break the human spirit. Instead, they awakened something we never knew existed. The humans have not devolved into barbarism. They have transcended our understanding of warfare itself. A new image appeared, the last transmission from the Vraxian High Command before their communication hub went dark. The proud warrior race, known for their brutality, had broadcast a formal surrender. Their empire, built over 10,000 years, had been systematically dismantled in less than 1 standard cycle. But it is not the military victory that should concern us. Zintal's voice dropped to almost a whisper. It is what we learned about humanity itself. They are not like us. When we face crisis, we seek consensus. When we wage war, there is debate, dissent, hesitation. Humans, when their core values are violated, they achieve something we thought impossible: perfect unity of purpose. The chamber erupted in concerned murmurs. High Administrator Kex raised his crystalline appendage for silence. "What would you have us do with this information, Ambassador?" Zintal's scales shifted to the deep blue of absolute certainty. "We must rewrite our understanding of humanity. They are not simply another spacefaring species. They are something else entirely. When pushed beyond their limits, they do not break. They transform. The Vraxians didn't just lose a war. They provided the galaxy with a warning." She gestured to the final image, a simple transmission that had been broadcast across every Vraxian world as their defenses fell. "Justice comes. Let us learn from the Vraxians' mistake," Zintal concluded. "Humanity's greatest weapon is not their technology or their military might. It is their capacity to unite in the face of injustice, to channel their entire civilization's potential toward a single purpose. They do not seek conflict, but when forced into it, they become something we never imagined possible. They become inevitable." The Grand Conclave sat in stunned silence, each delegate contemplating the implications. Humanity had been seen as newcomers, their internal divisions and emotional nature considered weaknesses. Now, those same characteristics revealed themselves as the foundation of something far more profound and far more terrifying. The age of underestimating humanity was over. The galaxy would never be the same. The Helios station hung like a jewel in orbit around Proxima Centauri, its massive solar arrays catching the red dwarf's light. Home to over 3 million civilians, it represented humanity's greatest achievement in deep space colonization. Director Isabella Rodriguez stood at the main observation deck, watching ships come and go through the quantum gates, carrying resources and dreams across the stars. Director, priority message from Defense Command. Her AI assistant, ARA, announced. Admiral Marcus requesting immediate conference. The Admiral's hologram materialized, his face grave. Isabella, we're picking up anomalous readings. Multiple quantum signatures approaching your sector. They don't match any known friendly patterns. Before Isabella could respond, the station's sensors screamed to life. Massive ships tore through space-time, their hulls bearing the distinctive bone-white markings of the Vraxian Empire. The invasion fleet dwarfed anything humanity had encountered before. This is War Prince Krasthul of the Vraxian Empire. A harsh voice boomed across all frequencies. Your species has expanded beyond its rightful bounds. This station represents a threat to our dominion. Its destruction will serve as an example. Isabella's mind raced through options, protocols, evacuation plans. But as the first salvos struck the station's shields, she knew. They had planned this too well. The quantum gates were already disabled. No help would arrive in time. ARA. Initiate Protocol Omega, she commanded, her voice steady. Broadcast everything. Every sensor, every camera, every quantum comm channel. The galaxy needs to witness this. The Vraxian attack was methodical and cruel. They disabled the station's defenses systematically, sector by sector. Emergency pods carrying civilians were shot down with precision. The Empire wanted no survivors, no one to tell the tale directly. They wanted only the footage to spread their message of terror. Isabella's final transmission reached Earth seconds before Helios Station's quantum core went critical. Remember us, she said simply. Remember why. The explosion was visible across 12 light-years. On Earth, in the chambers of the United Earth Government, silence reigned as the footage played. President Naomi Chen sat motionless, watching the destruction unfold in perfect clarity. The Vraxians had succeeded in broadcasting their message, but they had fundamentally misunderstood their audience. They wanted to break us. Admiral Marcus said quietly, to show the galaxy our weakness. President Chen stood slowly, her movement drawing every eye in the chamber. No, she replied. They have given us clarity. Within hours, humanity's response began. It started not with chaos or cries for vengeance, but with an eerie calm that spread across Earth and every human colony. Political parties that had been deadlocked for decades found immediate consensus. Corporations redirected their entire production capacity without a single shareholder meeting. Scientists shared breakthroughs that had been jealously guarded. The quartermaster of the Seoul Defense Fleet watched in amazement as his logistics ad reported the numbers. Civilian ships were being voluntarily converted to military use. Private research facilities offered their most advanced prototypes. Resources poured in from every human settlement. They think they've witnessed our destruction. President Chen addressed the emergency session of the Global Assembly. But they have only witnessed our transformation. Humanity has always been divided, arguing, competing. They saw this as weakness. Today, they learn why we chose to contain ourselves. Admiral Marcus's command center became the heart of what historians would later call the awakening. Quantum computers that had been running economic simulations now calculated battle strategies. Engineers who had been designing entertainment systems now created weapons that defied known physics. But most terrifying to those who watched was the silence. There were no rousing speeches, no declarations of war, no threats broadcast across the galaxy. Humanity simply changed. Individual ambitions and conflicts melted away, replaced by a singular purpose that radiated from every human world. The Vraxians had struck at a civilian target, believing it would showcase humanity's helplessness. Instead, they had provided the catalyst for something unprecedented in galactic history: the complete unification of a species, not through force or fear, but through shared resolve. The last message sent by Helios Station, Isabella's simple words, "Remember why," became a whispered mantra in laboratories, shipyards, and training grounds across human space. It wasn't a call for revenge. It was a reminder of purpose, of the line that should never have been crossed. 3 days after the destruction of Helios Station, humanity disappeared from all galactic communication channels. Their ships vanished from trade routes. Their diplomats withdrew from foreign posts. To the galaxy, it appeared as though humanity had retreated in fear. The Vraxians celebrated what they saw as a victory. Their war prince Krasful dispatched messages across the Empire, declaring that humanity had been taught its place. His advisors recommended pressing the advantage, striking at other human installations while their prey was weakened. None of them understood that they weren't witnessing humanity's retreat. They were witnessing humanity's preparation. In shipyards hidden in quantum space, in laboratories buried beneath planetary crusts, in training grounds scattered across 1,000 worlds, humanity was not planning a war. They were designing an inevitability. The first sign that something had changed came when the Vraxian outpost on Sigma 9 went dark. No distress signal, no signs of battle, no debris. The fortress that had stood for 3 centuries simply vanished. War Prince Krasful dismissed the initial reports. Outposts occasionally lost communication, but then a second disappeared, a third. By the time he recognized the pattern, 12 strategic locations had been erased from existence. "Impossible," he growled, studying the tactical display. "No force could penetrate our defenses without detection." His chief strategist, Valcor, shifted uncomfortably. "My lord, we've detected an anomaly in our quantum defense grid. Something, or someone, has been using our own security protocols against us." The humans had not merely copied Vraxian encryption, they had evolved it, turning the Empire's vaunted security systems into windows through which they could strike at will. Each lost outpost represented a critical node in the Vraxian supply chain, chosen with surgical precision. In orbit around Earth, Admiral Marcus watched the operations unfold on his quantum-linked display. The new stealth ships, designated Nightshade class, moved through space like digital ghosts, their quantum signatures masked by technology that had gone from theoretical to operational in weeks rather than years. "Status report," he commanded softly. Commander Raj Patel's hologram materialized. "Phase 1 complete, sir. The Vraxian logistics network is compromised. Their faster-than-light communication grid is now operating on our quantum protocols. They just don't know it yet." The Admiral nodded. Humanity's response was unfolding exactly as planned. No wasted energy, no dramatic battles, no opportunities for the enemy to adapt. Just the silent, methodical dismantling of an empire that had existed for millennia. In laboratories across human space, scientists like Dr. Yuki Tanaka worked tirelessly, pushing the boundaries of physics itself. Her team had cracked the code of Vraxian shield harmonics, developing weapons that could bypass their defenses completely. But more importantly, they had learned to predict how the Vraxians would try to adapt. Their entire military doctrine is based on overwhelming force, Dr. Tanaka explained to her colleagues. They never developed true innovation because they never needed to. Every problem was solved with more ships, more weapons, more soldiers. We're not just fighting their current technology. We're exploiting the limitations of their entire cultural approach to warfare. The Vraxian War Council gathered in their ancestral fortress on Vraxa Prime, the confusion in the chamber palpable. Reports flooded in from across their territory. Supply lines were failing. Communication networks reported phantom signals. Defense systems engaged non-existent threats while real ones slipped through undetected. They're not attacking our strength, Valcor realized with growing horror. They're attacking our assumptions. Every defense we've built, every strategy we've perfected, they've turned them all into vulnerabilities. In deep space, the human stealth ship SS Nemesis approached its target, a major Vraxian shipyard. Captain Diana Santos watched her crew work with quiet efficiency. There were no battle cries, no displays of bravado. Just focused determination as they executed their part in humanity's greater plan. Quantum insertion complete, her tactical officer reported. Their systems think we're a routine supply convoy. Uploading the package now. The package was a marvel of human ingenuity. A self-replicating quantum virus that would turn the shipyard's own construction systems against it. Within hours, the massive facility would begin systematically dismantling itself, its automated systems believing they were following routine maintenance protocols. Back on Earth, President Chen received regular updates, but felt no need to intervene. Humanity moved as one, each person understanding their role in the greater effort. The Vraxians had expected chaos, disorder, and emotional reactions. Instead, they faced something far more terrifying: absolute clarity of purpose. Research teams developed new technologies not through competition, but through seamless collaboration. Military units operated with unprecedented coordination, their strategies evolving faster than the enemy could comprehend. Even civilian populations contributed, their combined processing power driving quantum simulations that predicted and countered every possible Vraxian response. The galaxy watched in stunned silence as humanity's retribution unfolded. There were no grand battles, no heroic last stands, no opportunities for the Vraxians to die gloriously in combat as their warrior culture desired. Instead, their empire crumbled piece by piece, defeated not by superior firepower, but by an enemy that had transcended traditional concepts of warfare. As the Vraxian Empire's outer territories went dark one by one, other species began to understand. They weren't witnessing a war, they were witnessing evolution. The emergence of something new and terrifying in the cosmos. Humanity had not merely survived its trial by fire, it had been transformed by it. And in the silence of their methodical advance, a simple truth became clear: the galaxy would never underestimate humanity again. On Vraxa Prime, War Prince Krasful stood in his command center, watching his empire dissolve. The massive holographic display, once proudly showing the vast territories under Vraxian control, now revealed an ever-shrinking sphere of influence. Systems that had been loyal for thousands of years simply vanished from the network, their quantum signatures replaced by an unsettling void. "My lord," Valcor approached, his warrior's composure cracking. "We've lost contact with the Helios sector fleet. All 40,000 ships, gone. No debris, no distress calls. They simply ceased to exist." The humans had developed something unprecedented, weapons that didn't destroy their targets in normal space. Instead, they shifted entire fleets into parallel quantum states, effectively erasing them from this reality. The Vraxian ships still existed, technically, but in a dimension they could never return from. Admiral Marcus observed the operations from the newly commissioned HSS Retribution. The massive vessel represented humanity's new approach to warfare, not a traditional battleship, but a mobile quantum engineering platform capable of rewriting the laws of physics within its sphere of influence. "Project Prometheus status?" he asked, his voice calm despite the scale of what they were attempting. Dr. Tanaka's hologram appeared, her eyes bright with the fever of discovery. "The quantum cascade is stable, Admiral. We can now target specific frequencies of reality itself. The Vraxians won't just lose their ships, they'll lose the very possibility of rebuilding them." In research centers across human space, scientists had unlocked secrets that seemed impossible mere months ago. They hadn't merely advanced technology, they had fundamentally altered their understanding of what was possible. The grief of losing Helios Station had crystallized into pure innovation, driving them beyond conventional limitations. The Vraxian War Council gathered for what would be their final meeting. The massive chamber, built to accommodate thousands of warrior lords, now held barely 100. The rest had fallen silent, their territories swallowed by the advancing human tide. "We should have heeded the warnings," one elderly counselor muttered. "The other species feared us, hated us, but ultimately accepted our dominance. Humans, they simply refused to accept what we believed was inevitable." Outside the council chamber, the capital city of Vraxaprime was changing. Quantum distortions rippled through its ancient architecture, transforming the very material of its construction. The humans weren't destroying the city. They were rewriting its fundamental nature at the quantum level. President Chen received the reports with characteristic steadiness. Humanity's response had moved beyond mere military action. They were reshaping reality itself, ensuring that the Vraxian Empire's capacity for aggression would be permanently neutralized. "The quantum rewrite is reaching critical mass," Commander Patel reported. "Soon, their entire civilization will be shifted just slightly out of phase with normal spacetime. They'll exist, but never again be able to interact with other species." In the depths of space, Captain Santos and the HSS Nemesis approached Vraxaprime. Her ship carried the final component of humanity's response, a quantum resonance device that would lock the Vraxians' dimensional shift in place for eternity. "They expected us to destroy them," she reflected, watching the planet grow larger on her view screen. "They never imagined we would simply adjust their reality." The device activated without fanfare. There was no explosion, no dramatic flash of light. Reality itself simply shifted. The Vraxian Empire, a civilization that had dominated the galaxy for millennia, phased out of normal spacetime. They would continue to exist, but in a parallel dimension where they could never again threaten another species. War Prince Krasthval watched as his world transformed around him. The quantum shift was beautiful in its way, reality rippling like waves on a pond. His final transmission, broadcast across all frequencies, contained just 3 words: "We understand now." In the aftermath, the galaxy struggled to comprehend what they had witnessed. Humanity had not merely defeated an empire. They had transcended traditional concepts of victory and defeat. They had reshaped the very fabric of existence to prevent future conflict. The message was clear. Humanity's response to threats would not be limited by conventional boundaries of physics or philosophy. When pushed beyond their limits, they would simply redefine those limits, transforming themselves and reality itself to achieve their objectives. As the quantum distortions settled into their new configuration, Admiral Marcus sent a final message to the newly phased Vraxian Empire. Remember why. Remember always why. The galaxy would never be the same. And somewhere in the quantum echoes of spacetime, the spirits of Helios Station could rest, knowing that justice had been served in a way that transcended mere vengeance. The Grand Conclave of the Galactic Assembly reconvened 6 months after the Vraxian Empire's dimensional shift. The chamber, usually filled with diplomatic posturing and political maneuvering, sat in contemplative silence as Ambassador Zintel once again took the central podium. "We gather today," she began, her scales shifting through shades of deep thought, "not to discuss what humanity did to the Vraxians. We gather to discuss what humanity has become." The quantum displays activated, showing the transformed regions of what had once been Vraxian space. Where their mighty empire had stood, now existed something new. Areas of space where the laws of physics themselves had been subtly altered, serving as eternal monuments to the consequences of provoking humanity's unified purpose. High Administrator Kex's crystalline form pulsed with concerned frequencies. They didn't just defeat an empire. They evolved beyond our understanding of warfare itself. The question before us is simple. What are they now? The answer came from an unexpected source. Thomas Reed, humanity's first representative to the Assembly since the conflict, stood calmly at the center of the chamber. He carried no weapons, wore no formal regalia, just a simple uniform bearing the new symbol of united humanity, a phoenix emerging from a quantum field. "We are what we have always been," he stated simply. "Explorers, creators, dreamers. What you witnessed was not our transformation into something else. It was the revelation of what we have always been capable of when united by purpose." The assembly stirred uneasily. The humans had not retreated into isolation after their victory. Instead, they had begun sharing their new technologies, not the weapons, but the advances in medicine, energy generation, and space travel. Their quantum engineering breakthroughs were revolutionizing countless worlds. "You fear we might do to others what we did to the Vraxians," Reed continued, acknowledging the unspoken concern. "But you misunderstand. We didn't achieve what we did because we wanted to destroy. We achieved it because we wanted to prevent destruction. The Vraxians still live. In their shifted reality, we could have annihilated them. Instead, we chose to ensure they could never harm another species while preserving their existence." Dr. Tanaka, now serving as humanity's chief scientific liaison, activated a new hologram. It showed the quantum barriers humanity had created, not walls to keep others out, but safeguards to prevent future conflicts from escalating beyond control. "Our greatest discovery wasn't how to shift reality," she explained. "It was understanding that unity of purpose doesn't require uniformity of thought. Every human who contributed to our response did so in their own way, bringing their unique perspectives and abilities. We didn't suppress our diversity. We transcended the limitations it once imposed." The assembly watched as humanity began implementing what they called the Guardian Protocol, a network of quantum sensors and reality anchors that would help prevent any species from achieving the kind of destructive dominance the Vraxians had wielded. President Chen addressed the assembly through Quantum Link. "We understand your fears. We have shown what humanity is capable of when provoked beyond endurance. But look closer at what we've actually done with that capability. We didn't seek vengeance. We sought prevention. We didn't destroy. We transformed. And now we offer that same transformation to the galaxy, not through force, but through cooperation." The implication slowly dawned on the assembled delegates. Humanity had not merely demonstrated their power, they had shown wisdom in its application. The technologies they now shared were carefully chosen to elevate rather than dominate, to unite rather than divide. Ambassador Zintel's scales shifted to the rare color of profound realization. "Perhaps," she concluded, "we should not ask what humanity has become. Perhaps we should ask what they are helping us all to become." As the assembly session ended, Thomas Reed stood at the observation deck, watching ships from 100 worlds moving through the quantum gates humanity had helped design. Each vessel carried a piece of the new future they were building, not one dominated by fear of human power, but one illuminated by the potential of human innovation. The memorial to Helios Station hung in quantum space, its form shifting between dimensions, a reminder not of tragedy, but of transformation. Its quantum signature broadcast a simple message across all frequencies. Remember why. Remember what we can become. The galaxy had witnessed the price of provoking humanity's unified purpose. But more importantly, they were beginning to understand the value of embracing humanity's boundless potential for growth, innovation, and transcendence. The age of fear was over. The age of transformation had begun.